now. So what I'm gonna do is just gonna get into this episode. Today's guest we have none other than man like Jaden, aka ImortalXSoul. Welcome to the community corner, sir. Welcome.
Yo, what's going on, people? Thank you for having me, bro.
No worries, man. No, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for coming on. Thank you. How's your day been today so far, man?
Yeah, not bad, man. Just finished work and really just preparing, just waiting for to come on.
Nice. So I guess in my eyes, you would be one of the the new blood, so to speak. Because as has already been established, I am like a super OG. So for those that don't know Jaden, aka Immortal, so tell them about yourself, like when you started, like to just like let the people know who you are, man, what you do.
Yeah, so I mainly play Tekken, so obviously I'm a competitive fighting game player. Mainly known for Tekken, mainly known for Raven. So yeah, mainly known for Tekken. I mean, I do play Street Fighter. I play a lot of fighting. I'm a fan of the fighting game franchise, so I play Soul Calibur, Street Fighter, dabbling in other games. So yeah, mainly known for Tekken, Raven, and I do music production. I do obviously have a YouTube channel, so I do kind of like media stuff as well. So I kind of in lots of different areas, but I would say mainly people know me for obviously Tekken and Raven specifically, just because that's my main character.
Yeah. And again, you mentioned obviously music, which you're gonna get into. Jaden's music is the intro music that we use. The community corner is the music that we've been using for versus fighting for the past 2 years, maybe. And I say sick music, and we're gonna get into that as well, and the process and all the rest of that. But yeah, I guess for now, so when did you kind of start playing like fighting games? What was your first kind of
fighting games, really? My first ever fighting game was Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, and that was like, I think that game came out in 99 because I'm 25 and I was born in 99, so I didn't play it until maybe like 4 or 5 years after, because I remember going to my granddad's house and my auntie had a PS2 and she would always have like the Mortal Kombat games, and the one I first played was Deadly Alliance. So that kind of like the 3D Mortal Kombat era is really like close to my heart, and I wanted to kind of reboot it a little bit because it's just, I don't know, man, because I'm a big fan of the franchise. It's just not going in the direction that I want it to go in it. So I feel like it's do something different. But yeah, like, so that was my first fighting game. And then I would say I got into Street Fighter because my dad played a lot of Street Fighter, like with the man and whatever. Then we got a PS3, like I got a PS3 for my birthday, and then we had Street Fighter 4. So from vanilla, so from like what 2009?
2009, yeah, 2009,
so,
09ers, as we call them.
Literally, so from 2009 up until like, I mean, the end of that whole Ultra Street Fighter 4, that was a long stretch. So I played that game heavily. Like that was like one of my main fighting games. Obviously, I was young, but that was like the main. That's why like I took elements from Street Fighter to Tekken. That's why I played Tekken a little bit weird. So I feel like my playstyle is kind of developed from Street Fighter as well. And yeah, through 4 I played Seth. The boss character, but he was very much a glass cannon because obviously he had the lowest health in the game, but he had like
a lot of stuff, mobility,
command grabs, so yeah, he was sick. And I kind of developed my playstyle from that. So I like characters that like are mobile, they can run away, they can be offensive, but they have good defensive mechanics or options. So Raven kind of falls into that category. But what's interesting is that so after, I'm going off track, but after SF4, I think I played MKX. That was one game that I heavily played as well, MKX. And then Street Fighter 5 came out. I wasn't really a fan. And then I think it was Street Fighter 5 came out first, and then Tekken 7 came out. I always did play Tekken, so I think my first Tekken was Tekken 5. So I played Tekken 5, but not to a high level. Like I played Tekken 5, 6, and Tag 2 without even playing online. I just didn't play online. I played Ghost Battle. So I was there banging Ghost Battle, and like scenario campaign, stuff like that. So I was very much into the single player stuff. And then I picked up Tekken 7. I was like, you know what? I should kind of give this game, like, try and learn it. Not obviously not to become a competitor, but just to learn it and be proficient. Because in the previous Tekken iterations, I just know how to do combos and just button mashing. So I'm like, let me just sit down and learn how to actually play the game, system mechanics, and things of that nature. So I took Tekken seriously a little bit. I think I played it from like 2017 it came out, maybe on consoles at least. up until 2019. That was the point at which I'm like, I moved to uni in Coventry. So that's actually how I started. I started through Coventry. I didn't start through Birmingham. Even though I'm from Birmingham, I didn't start getting into the scene through the bump scene. It was more through Cov. So I literally just put on Google like Tekken 7 offline sessions or whatever, and one thing,
right,
you know what? Because I always cost like, I'm saying there's no advertisement of like, you know, like new players getting into the scene. There's no like,
how do you find it to get in?
How do you find these things to get in? So it was really lucky. Like I think they used the venue that they first used was like a game shop, like a card trading shop type. And upstairs was where they used to hold the sessions. But on the card chat website, it had like a little thing like, I think every Saturday 5:30 till 10. I just happened to see it on Google, so I literally just bopped down after work one day, and the rest was history. And then obviously like some of the Brum players started coming down, and then it was like, oh, you're decent at Tekken, man, you should come down and whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm from Brum, so that's lit. So then I started going to like people and then I started going to GGA. GGA was the
GGA.
So we started going GGA running sessions, and then I think obviously GGA still going, but we found another spot, Kongs. That was lit. That was like
Kongs was sick. I think
Kongs was lit.
I went there maybe like 2-3 times maybe, but there was some good sessions up there though, man.
Kongs was lit. So that was quite local as well, so that was easy to get to. But in terms of where like my desire to start competing offline actually came from is like, because I played SF4 so heavily, is like I watched a lot of tournaments, even though I wasn't a competitor at the time. Like I did watch a lot of tournaments. Tag 2, one of my favorite players was El Negro, really sick Raven and Kunimitsu player. So I used to watch him a lot. Tishamon as well. So those players, JDCR, but my favorite was probably El Negro, to be honest, in Tag 2. But I remember thinking to myself, like I was watching a Street Fighter 4 tournament. I think it was Hype Spotting when that used to exist. So I think it was like what, 2014 or 15. I forgot what the last year was, but I think it was the last Hype Spotting that I was watching. I was thinking, damn, like I wanna like travel to these events, and I was young at the time, so I couldn't travel by myself in it. So I kind of just had to firm it until I got of age where I could start traveling. Like, and at uni, like I mean, from like 16 to I think like maybe 18 or 19, I was still in college, so I couldn't like I was just focused on other stuff, so I couldn't really put time into, you know, stuff
fully commit.
Like, I couldn't fully commit, whereas in uni it's like I had a lot more time to dedicate to fighting games. So that's why I kind of like, you know what, let me take Tekken 7 seriously, let me like actually look up offlines, and then bam, I just started going to offlines. And then like I was just getting my ass beat in offline sessions by all the Brum players. I remember just getting washed, and I was thinking to myself, like, but this is good though. This is good for learning, you know what I mean? So, the rest is history, really. But it really did start from Cov. So that's like where I started, and then it transitioned to Brum. And I still keep with the Cov guys as well. So it's like it's kind of Cov and Brum at the same time.
Fair. So I guess what was the spark of wanting you to kind of take Tekken seriously? You guys say you've been playing Street Fighter 4, you're going through, and you know you're just playing just to play. Like I think everyone gets to a point where they're kind of like, you know, I want to get better at this game. But then what was the spark for you? And then I guess obviously you just randomly searched, but once you found the scene, was it just grinding, playing online? Was it like looking at, like, you know, I think back in the day it was game FAQs and had stuff on there. Like how did you kind of get to the point? What sparked off? Okay, I want to get better at this game.
You know what? It's hard to say, but it's hard to pinpoint like where the switch actually came from being a casual to like wanted to pursue fighting games more seriously. I think it's a combination of like beating players online, getting to the highest rank in the game, and then thinking like, okay, I'm more right at Tekken now. Like I know what I'm doing. I'm beating certain players here and there. At the time when I started going offline, I was super casual. So I was going casuals, and then I started beating players at casuals. In Brum or in Cov, I started beating players, I started winning more sets, whatever. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. Then it wasn't until, because you know what's funny, I didn't have a desire to compete really, because I was still new to, I didn't really know what competing was. I just wanted to go offline and play people and talk about the game and just talk. So that was the start of my offline. And then I remember, I think the Cov lads asked me to be in one of their teams for a Tekken tournament, and I was so apprehensive to say yes.
Yeah,
I was so like, I didn't want to go, I didn't want to go, but there was like, you're one of the best players here. Like, we need you to go to the tournament, to the team tournament. And the team tournament was Divided We Stand. I remember it perfectly. It's Divided We Stand in Kongs.
That was a good
Kongs. Like, I remember it.
Yeah, 3v is a 3v3, isn't it?
3v3, yeah. So
yes. That's also you was like the brainchild behind that.
Yeah. So yeah, that event was sick though. But yeah, that was my first like ever tournament. But I was asked to go and I didn't want to go in it, but I just thought, what, let me just go. I ended up having a lot of fun. I mean, my team got eliminated, but it wasn't really about that at the time. It was just to meet people and to go and play people, and it was lit, man. So yeah. So from that moment, I just thought, I think the next tournament after that was actually VSF in 2019. No, tell a lie. It wasn't the same year. But before that, Cov had a tournament, like a dojo, just before VSF. And I did decently well. And then like I had a little bit of momentum in it, so I just kind of I carried the momentum, and then from there it just kind of like it just kind of just carried on. I suppose. And
just kept competing, the way that things are nowadays in terms of like learning games and stuff, obviously the access, and we got better training modes and things like that, and all sorts of stuff. So when was your first versus fighting then, and how was the experience for you then? I guess like
it was 2019.
So you were still pretty early in like your competitive like career, as it were.
Yeah, very early. That was like my third ever offline tournament. Going to BSF.
Okay.
So yeah, that was pretty early, like in my kind of career, or because I mean, to be honest, even all now, like I don't really compete too much. Like my presence is mainly like, I would say like once I solidified my kind of place as like the guy for Raven in the region, it kind of like, and my feeling towards the game wasn't the best, so my steam started running out towards like I would say 2021, 2022 ish. My steam started running out in terms of like competing for 7. But I carried on the YouTube stuff and just all that, like my content. That's like when I really started like actually taking content seriously, because I'm like, if I'm not gonna compete, I might as well just do something else. And still, because the thing is that I still love fighting games. It's my favorite genre of game. I still love Tekken as a franchise. So I didn't want to really leave it behind. And plus I've made a lot of friends. I didn't really want to just leave it behind, you know what I mean? So I thought like I can keep myself in the community, but I can do something else. You know what I mean? I can teach people like what I know about Raven. And that was the point of my YouTube channel, was honestly just like a tutorial based channel for Raven, and it was very Raven centric. Obviously Raven's a very niche character within a niche itself, so it's very hard to, the community is small. So I kind of like, that's why like I started doing like little things like looking into music and then looking into like just product reviews and just doing different things, because it's hard to like, because Raven's so small in an already small community, it's hard to like keep going
and get any traction, and how much content can you create, how much things,
and I was running out of ideas. The thing is, I was running out of ideas, like in Tekken stuff. I was really running out of ideas, and like one thing that saved me is actually switching peripherals, because I felt like I was relearning the game, because like when you switch peripherals, like for me it was from pad to, I did have stick, but I didn't really take it seriously. I just had it for fun. So I always played stick on the side, but I wanted to switch to levelers as like, to commit to in Tekken. So that like, if you've ever like used the levelers from pad, like if you've been playing pad your whole life and then switch to levelers, it feels like I don't know how to play the game. Like I couldn't even move. So I literally had to relearn Tekken, how to play the game, how to move, like clutch situations. I was still getting stuck. I couldn't even do hop kick on a whiff punish on a levelers for ages. So
mad.
That gave me so many more content ideas, and it just like kind of revitalized my Tekken.
So why, speaking of that, why did you switch from pad to leverless in the first place? Like what caused that?
It's mainly down to consistency, because with pad, like it's not the fact that I can't do stuff on pad, because I could always do like difficult things with Raven on pad, and my movement was pretty good with Raven on pad. Like I could do all the execution stuff on pad. Like even when it comes down to like just having execution in general, my execution is pretty good across most games. So it's not that, it's just the consistency for me was annoying. Like that the D-pad, it wears out and it's rubber, so it is going to wear out over time. But my issue was not even that. It's the fact that if you get a new pad, they break in different, so then I'd have to adjust my like technique of doing certain things, and it was just constantly adjusting to the pad. I didn't like that, so I thought, okay, I'm gonna take a hit. I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose a lot in the beginning with Leveless, and I was getting my ass beat by everyone with Leveless. Like I went to a tournament and just got washed. Like at the end of Tekken 7, because I was like, we're playing on Leveless for about 6 months. Cool.
Yeah.
Let me go to a tournament now, and I just got washed because I still wasn't good on the peripheral.
So when you,
I just wasn't good on the peripheral. So but what I will say is because I've kept with it and I'm main Leveless now. It's so much more consistent. It's literally a button, and the thing
like
is,
in the long run, it's better for you.
But a button it can break. Okay, cool. But it's a switch, and switches are consistent. And even if it's not, you can get a switch pack with 100 switches, so you can find a switch that's, you know what I mean, that will match. I mean, more times they will match anyway, but it's mainly just a consistency for me. And the thing is like with cold hands, that was a big issue I faced as well. Like in tournaments where I'd go offline and my hands are mad cold, and then I can't do certain things because I'm cold. Whereas on Levelers, I don't have that. I don't have to deal with that issue. I can play cold and do everything perfectly fine. So it's mainly just a consistency thing for me, and just consistency really. But I also grown to love like the modding aspect of it and building my own stuff. And I feel like there's a lot more opportunities to work with companies as well, because it's such a big thing, the arcade scene in general. The modding, the arcade levers, it's such a huge
main thing now. Like there's more people that use leverless than stick nowadays. Like
legit. So it's fun to I've kind of like created like a secondary audience for my channel in terms of like that side of stuff now. So that's like, I mean, the main reasons just consistency for me.
Fair. So we kind of obviously we touched on a bit briefly about like, you know, your YouTube and I guess why you started the YouTube and stuff. But I guess like with obviously how are you finding, like you said, you know, early on it was just mainly like Raven centric, and you got to a point where you kind of let's branch it out. So how did you find like building like your audience? Was it just a case of like organic growth, and then you kind of was just consistently putting things out, and then it got to a point where it grew, or was where there like ups and downs when you started like
there was I hear what you're trying to say. I think for me, like my YouTube channel journey, or just my social media presence in general, the journey has been very like up and down. There's been times where I haven't posted in like 3 months. It's been very inconsistent. So even now, like my stuff is inconsistent, but I try to at least put out 1 video per week just to keep on that, because the algorithm is ridiculous now. Like it's so unforgiving. If you don't upload, you're gone, and it takes months and months and months to go back
to kind of build it in the first place.
It's so hard. So I try to just keep like, I don't really play Tekken too tough, because a lot of people joke that I'm a banger in it. I'm not a banger. I just go on Tekken to farm some content for like 3 months. That's me for 3 months. Unless there's something like a big update, I'll hop on. Or if I find something new, like if I see something in Tekken that I want to do a guide on, cool, hop on, record, hop off. But I remember like my first streams were Uncharted 4 actually. So I was uploading so much. I was uploading Black Ops. I was uploading like FIFA stuff. I was doing things, Mortal Kombat, Uncharted. So my channel wasn't even Tekken at that point. It wasn't even
pure. So when you started, it was pure different stuff.
You know, what's it called on PS4? Share Factory. Is that the app?
Yeah.
Yes, I was doing Share Factory. I was just literally like clipping stuff, random things, throwing together, like, you know, like the I used to even leave the Share Factory animation, you know, like the beginning where it does that whoosh effect. I used to leave that in the video and upload it just for my PS4. So that's like from where that's like where I started. No video editing software off my PS4, nothing. It was just all on my PS4, low quality video, just upload, slap them on. And then I started doing Tekken 7 streams, just playing. And I had a little bit of a community at that point, probably like just under 1,000, probably, just call it 1,000. Started doing streams on my PS4, building a community, playing with people in my community, and then like when I started playing Raven seriously, I started doing guides and content for Raven. And then like my channel not blew up because it's still pretty small, all things considered. It's still a pretty small channel, but it started growing a little bit. So I started seeing a little bit of growth, and then as I was saying, because the Raven community is so small, it kind of plateaued. I think at about 3,000, I felt a huge like wall that I just couldn't get past. And then the shift, remember the shift from like long form content to short form. Clips was never really a thing on YouTube. Then all of a sudden it just shifted.
Yeah, and it got the shorts and all that, and like
10-second clips started becoming a thing. And I was stubborn. I didn't want to adapt. I didn't want to sacrifice my content quality and just do small clips. But at that point, I was just like, my content's kind of stagnant at this point. Let me just try something new. Let me just do clips. And the clips were hitting, like they were doing 20,000, 50,000, 80,000, like just from clips. And
I kept, like gameplay content clips, sorry.
Yeah, just like funny clips. Like if something crazy happened in Tekken, like in 10, 20 seconds, I'll just clip it and put it up with a crazy, like catchy title, no thumbnail, just a super clickbait title, and just generate views. Like literally, that's what I was doing for, I'd say, like 3 months. And then at that point, I think I got to like maybe 5,000-6,000. So that was a substantial amount of growth considering my YouTube channel and how long I've been doing it previously. That small bit of growth in them like 6 months was crazy. But then it got to the point where I'm like, I don't really want my channel to be a clips channel. I have more to offer. Like my content has more to offer than just clips. And I was getting bored of clips. But at the time, it was still clips.
Yeah, that's what like that was things that you kind of have to roll with the tide, as it were.
That was the thing.
Kind of keep up in it.
So that was the thing. So then I'm like, okay, cool. The shift was like, okay, I'm happy with the growth now. I'm gonna switch back to what I was doing, but I was looking into like doing things to increase my production quality. So whether that was like maybe upgrading the audio, because remember I was streaming on PS4, so I was using that one piece of mic, you know, that one headphone that you get, the blue headphone that you get in the PS4. I was using that as my mic. I didn't even have a mic. I just had that. I was speaking into that with it clipped on my shirt. It was just super low quality. So I was like, okay, cool. Even though the views might not be great, let me look at what I can do to improve my production quality. Learn a bit of basic graphic design, like just doing thumbnails, just doing like stream overlays, you know what I mean? So I started doing way more things, like more creative things. That's also when I started getting into music production, because then lockdown happened in 2020, and I started music production in August, September 2020.
Oh really? You only started then?
Yeah, so I've only been doing it for like 5 years.
These young geezers, man. I don't like it, you know. I don't like it, man. These young men out here just too talented, man. They've got too much.
Remember, there's so much more. The information is more accessible now. So anyone can teach themselves. I was just going on YouTube and typing in, how to do this, how to mix like kicks, or like, and then like sound packs, and just it's easy now. It's easy. Just as like improving that tech and get like fighting games is much more easy now, because there's so much more information easily accessible.
So is it a similar thing, like when you, as you say, when you're talking about like thumbnails and things like that? Did you just like kind of Google or YouTube how to do XYZ?
Yeah, so I was looking at like because my thumbnail style has shifted quite a bit. Like experimenting with fonts and generating higher render character renders. So at the beginning, it was literally mad basic. Like I wouldn't even cut out a render. I would just literally I'll take a screenshot of a character in a scene, for example, use that, just slap some text on it, that's it. And I'm thinking like I was to grow my channel, I was actually studying different channels, and I was looking at like, okay, what type of thumbnails get the most views, what type of titles get the most views. So I was really like, because I wanted to take YouTube seriously, I was literally sitting down and looking at like different thumbnails I like. Because even to this day, like I have let me go on YouTube and check quickly. I literally have a playlist called Ideas, and anything sick that I see, it could be like a studio that I like the look of, a studio design, because that's one thing that I'm working on now, is like trying to build my own recording studio. But anything that I see is sick, like recording studio, camera lenses to upgrade my streaming and videos, you know, thumbnail, like anything creative that I see is sick. Even if I see a thumbnail that's matic, I'll just put it in the Ideas and come back to it and say, okay, cool. And compare like my stuff to different things, you know what I mean? So my thumbnails, I think I've gotten a lot better over the years. But during like the clip era, I just made sure to kind of like look at how I could progress my channel. And to be honest, one of the people that helped me a lot is actually King Jay. One of my close friends. Like shout out Jay, man, because Jay helped me a lot. Like just even behind the scenes, would look at like different channels and just run through, like he would look at my channel and say, nah, you need to clean this up, or delete this playlist because it looks too, just different things are just really cleaning up the channel.
That's sick. That is.
Yeah,
That,
so
the support is there. Like,
yeah, man. Nah, big up Jay for real. Because he definitely helped me kind of like streamline and clean everything up just to make it more uniform, I suppose. And that's actually full circle now because I do work for him and like and we work together to to clean up his channel and make sure that everything's looking prima proper. You know what I mean?
That's
So
sick, man. You gotta support. You gotta support in it, man.
Yeah, man. Trust me. So yeah, that's kind of like what my YouTube and how it kind of went. I guess the beginning of it anyway.
I can't believe man said I jumped on YouTube and learned how to design thumbnails. It's me like an idiot. I've been doing graphic design for years.
Yeah, but there's so much information, and the thing is like I was thinking to myself, I'm not gonna sit here and pay someone to do something that I can just learn. Like even if it's not the best of quality, I can improve. And I did that. Like I was just like, I don't really want to rely on people to do thumbnails and these different. Like,
I think that's sick. That like it definitely sounds like you're a student of the game in terms of learning things and like having the incentive to be like, I want to do it my way myself. I'm gonna learn how to do it, and obviously that's kind of translated to like learning Tekken in the games, to learning the design, to learning the music as well, which is like it's sick, man. So in terms of like the music side of things, as you say, you started in lockdown. Why did you start first of all? Was it just just something to do during lockdown kind of thing?
I would say my dad actually is very music heavy, and he's a producer. He's a drum and bass producer. So I was always subject to like loud blasting music, subwoofers, everything. So like I was always subject to that from young. So I always kind of like had an interest in music, and I always had the ear for music, I suppose. Even like what I used to listen to or still listen to is very much beats and instrumentals. I like music that has no vocals. Just I like to take in what people are doing with mixing. You know what I mean? So and obviously now as a producer, I can appreciate it more. I feel like it's a double-edged sword though, because I feel like knowing different techniques and obviously knowing a lot of stuff with production is like I can recognize poor production and poor mixing easy now. Whereas like I felt like before, as a more casual listener, it was I could just enjoy music just for the music. I can still do that, but it's like if an 808 is out of key now, I can't really listen to the track because it's like it's jarring me because my brain just hears it. You know what I mean? But the reason why I got into music production is because like I wanted to create a sound that wasn't really that I'd not heard before, and I can't put my finger on like the exact specific sound that like I wanted to create, but it was just something in my head that was missing. That I hadn't really heard before, or I just hadn't discovered. Maybe it's out there. It's definitely out there, but I just hadn't discovered it. So I'm like, okay, let me just create music and try and develop my sound, which I think I have done. My sound is very I do so many different genres. Like
that's what I was gonna say. You do like
So, but I would say, but
no, you go, bro. You go, man.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say my sound is very like it's weird. It's just a weird sound. I just choose sounds that are just weird, like soundscapey, experimental sounds. Genre blending is something that I like to do as well. So they're very unique, I would say. But I started with UK drill because it's just easy. Like it's easy to create. Like the patterns are pretty much the same. The melodies are easy to create. It's really just a pad or a piano halftime pitched. That's it. Like it's so easy to create drill melodies because they're so repetitive and easy.
And then the in thing as well, like everyone like at the time.
It was the in thing at the time as well. So so I started with UK drill, and then like I was getting bored of it, and then I started like I transitioned to trap beats, which I found really difficult, which is crazy because looking back at it now is like comparing drill and trap, there's really not much of a difference. It's just certain placements of sounds and slight sound selection differences, but other than that, it's really not that much of a difference. I would say same with like grime and trap and grime and drill. They're very much derivative of each other, so they're not different at all. They're not that far at all. But I found it hard to like develop my trap sound and just developing confidence like in production as well, and like thinking, okay, this is what I want to do, this is like the sound I want to go with, and now I can deliver it. But yeah, I mean, starting production in lockdown, it was kind of mainly a thing where I'm in the house, I've got nothing better to do, I like music. I was always interested in making music to some degree. I just thought like it would be something fun to do at the time, so I stuck with it. It wasn't easy. It definitely wasn't an easy process because, like, even to this day, I make terrible beats, like, and no one will even hear them. So
yeah.
like,
yeah, there's a lot of process of making beats. Like, I don't really, I can't really even say that I dabble now, but I used to dabble a bit, like back in the day and stuff. And yeah, I ain't really made a beat in time. I got my MPD just.
Okay, yeah.
It's just gathering dust right
now.
now.
Go, man. Like, get like, I think. I don't know, man. I think everyone should try it. Even if it's just like playing a musical instrument. I think people,
keyboard here that just literally unplugged. It's unplugged though, bro. Like,
the thing is like if you do content, like, and also the another thing is music for content is like now I have to go out. Now I don't have to go out and find things that are not going to strike me. Like that's another thing. I'm not going to get copyright struck from my own stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I can freely choose out of thousands of beats that I have now. I can just freely choose whatever I want to. Whereas like before, I'm like, oh, I like this beat, but are they gonna strike me? It's long. Now I gotta switch it down and slow it. It's like, nah, I ain't gotta do all of that. So
it's a similar thing. Like,
you know what I mean?
It's a similar thing. Like, I guess it's kind of different in my sense because, like, with design and obviously because I do like my children's books and whatever, it's like I don't have to go out and get an illustrator because I'm an illustrator myself anyway, so I can write. And then I don't have to get a designer to do the marketing because I can do it myself. So that level of control is always good. There's like one or two of my beats that I've thrown up on my YouTube videos, which, we're not getting into that, but it's a similar kind of thing where you're saying,
I hear what you're saying, 100.
The copyright and stuff, and it's just long, like
it's very long.
Trying to go through hoops. Let me just throw my own thing in that though, but that's sick, man.
But you know what? I always tell people like who are starting out, like, or mainly just who are starting out, just try and learn, like, just even just a basic thing. Just get Premiere or get like a free editing software. Because there's a lot of free ones. I used to use there was a free one I used to use before. I'm forgetting the name of it now, and I used to have it on my Mac. Begins with a C. Can't remember though, but it was free. I didn't pay for it, so and I was doing mad basic, like super basic. I remember I created a thumbnail where I went to Red Bull and I did a vlog, and I created a thumbnail. Literally, I just typed in like Red Bull PNG, downloaded that, for the logo. And then like I got some random Canva. Yes, Canva.
The bane of my existence.
Canva. That's it. Canva. Canva.
Canva, man. To be fair, I can't even front like as a man that uses Photoshop heavily. I can't hate on Canva, but like everyone's a designer now.
It's free, like
everyone. That's the problem though. Everyone's a designer, like
I hear it. Like,
but as I say, I'm kind of fortunate that I do other things, but like, nah, man. You know what? Let's not get into the Canva talk. Bun that.
Big up Canva though, man. Big up Canva.
Nah. I can't even go that fast though. I can't even go that far. But as obviously we kind of mentioned earlier, there's so much resources and access available if you kind of want to learn things or do things and stuff like that. So with the music side, into what software do you use actually for producing?
I use FL Studio. So I use FL Studio 24.
Okay.
Yeah, I can use a little bit of Logic, but that's mainly for recording. I know how to record people on Logic. But in terms of like making beats, is strictly FL Studio. Yeah.
Nah, fair. Canva, man, like, no. I mean, we have definitely took a left turn right now by with how I'm feeling right now.
Let's move on.
I feel say basic stuff, you can do in Canva, but the certain stuff that I don't think you can do in Canva, and it's like,
for sure. It's just, but that's what I'm saying. It's just the app to do basic things.
It's the accessibility and the ease of use for like.
It did the job.
Like, for a man, as I said, for me, like an idiot. I sound like an idiot now. I went college for like 3 years. I went 2 years. I went uni for 3 years to study design because they weren't really like. I'm an old guy.
Okay, from your perspective, I see why.
Yeah, I'm a super old head, so it's like
I see why.
Man just come up in different times, and that's why I hate these young guys, man.
But you know what's funny?
They got the world, man. They got the world.
But you know what's funny? Like I think I was speaking to someone at work about it, but I really want to because I like sound design and just like I'm very intrigued by just waveform. I love physics as well. That's one thing that I really like. I've always been into like physics. I did really good in physics in school. It's my favorite subject. So I like physics, and obviously sound design coincides with physics perfectly. It literally is physics. So I was thinking about maybe going and studying sound design or sound engineering, and maybe doing something with that. Because I have a channel and like it requires some sort of like sound competency, I suppose. It wouldn't hurt to like go and actually study and learn it.
Properly.
But I'm not sure. I'm in two minds with that. But I was thinking to like, sound engineering or something. But to be honest, I don't know what the courses are like. I don't know what they teach. It sounds good to me, but I don't know how it would be actually studying it and learning it.
Fair. That's it. So like in terms of like the music and that, what are like your favorite genres or genre to kind of produce? And I guess what's your process when you go into like, okay, I'm gonna start making a beat? Do you just okay, let me throw some drums here, let me throw some 808s here, blah blah blah, and then do you see what comes? Or do you have kind of like a concept?
It really depends on how I feel on the day, you know, because sometimes it like my inspiration is spiked from different things. So sometimes I might be out in the city center and like, you know, the people that do like they play instruments or they sing or whatever. Sometimes I'll stand there and record them and sample it and then go home and then just put it in the software and really manipulate it and come up with an idea that way. Or I might hear a beat that's mad sick and I'm like, okay, cool, I want to do this sound. Or I might just go on FL Studio, open up a plugin and just sift through sounds and then like whatever speaks to me, I'll pick it, create a melody with it, and then put drums. In terms of my production process, I always do melodies first or sampling first. So I need a melody first. I need to create
kind of bass around
because how I do my bass lines is around the melody. I know some people do like they do drums first and then they'll build a melody around it. But for me personally, I can hear stuff easier. Like when there's a melody playing, I can hear the pitch shift.
There's something there.
Yeah, there's something there.
Okay, and I can put this drum here.
So I can get the bounce with a melody. You know what I'm saying? So like even when I'm doing 808s, or bass lines or respace or whatever it is, bass line wise, a lot of the times I like to match the bass line with the counter melody sometimes. And then when like the bass melody, like when the first bass melody is playing and then the counter comes in, then your brain will be like, oh, now the 808 is matching the counter melody, which is just sick. So but mainly not. It's just I need a melody or a sample or something just to put some basic drums on it, then I can build around it. But yeah, my inspiration comes from so many things. Like sometimes I'll just get up in the middle of the night, mad late. Like I'll be on YouTube watching videos and then like I'll hear something. It could just be something. It might not even be a beat. It could be like a random sound effect. You know what I mean? It could be a random sound effect. And then like I'll think, you know what? Yeah, I want to make a beat. I could be playing a game. I've sampled many games. Ghost of Tsushima. You know the bit where have you played the game?
Nah, I ain't even played it too tough.
There's a part in the game where you go to meditate at like these like river sides, like the banks. You go to meditate in the banks, and then this music plays, this like really majestic music with flute and pads, and then it has this like vocal sample. So I'm like, the sound is literally giving me goosebumps. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So I'm like, let me sample this. And the beat was lit. I like to use ethnic drums, so sometimes I'll use like Arabic drums, or sometimes I'll use like Chinese drums or whatever. Like it's just very versatile. It just depends on what I want to do on a day. And I can't really say what my inspiration comes from, but producer wise, my biggest inspiration, like my favorite producer, the name is mad, but his name's Icy Twat. We're gonna be swiftly on. But anyway, he is lit. He is lit. And if
what his genre, I'll type it in later. I won't type it in now. No, I won't type it in now.
Nah, you're safe. Don't worry. But he does like very like ethereal, spacious trap music. So it's a very like it works, but like his drums are very hard hitting, but his melodies are very open and airy and very ethereal and just dreamy, I suppose. But then his drums are mad hard hitting, so it's a juxtaposition in the production. Yes. So he's my favorite producer by far, I would say. But other than that, man, it just whatever pops into my head that day. There might be times where I don't make a beat for a week. There might be times where I make 20 beats in a day. It really just depends on how motivated I'm feeling to make beats. But one thing I will say is like I like getting out of the house to make music. So I like going studio. outside of my house to make music because I just think sometimes a change of environment can really spark different.
Yeah. Because when you're in the same four walls, like consistently, I think it's the same with any kind of creative kind of thing. Like I know for me, like there's times where like I'm here doing my work and it's like I need to get out of this space because I don't see in the same four walls. Like it's just you kind of so that definitely helps. I understand that like 100%, man.
Yeah,
damn, man. So I guess touching back on like the gaming side of things. Then obviously, I know you shout out to the man them lobby. Shout out to Chico, Jay, Rich, you know. I know you guys obviously touched on the Tekken 2 changes, and I'm not the guy to be okay. I'm in the game, but okay. In terms of like your initial, if you can kind of summarize your kind of thoughts on the direction of season 2, the way that Tekken is in general at the moment, like if you can kind of like summarize your thoughts at least on that and how you're feeling about the game essentially.
I think personally, I think the direction that the developers are taking is positive because they're listening to people for the most part. I think that for me is like the most important thing, that like they're actually listening to people. But I do think there's a fine line because a lot of people use social media as like as a strategy to gain competitive edge, because you'll see players deliberately downplaying characters or deliberately making characters seem more powerful than they are because they don't want to deal with them in tournament, or they know like, okay, cool, there's this amount of character, like there's this amount of Mishima players in my region. I don't like fighting Mishimas. I'm going to say something online to get them nerfed. Players will do that. So I think there's a very fine line. But however, I will say that they are listening to people, and I think it's a good direction altogether. I think the direction they tried to go in with the game from launch, I don't agree with it. It's personal preference because some of the casuals, they do be liking this aggressive style. So it's I think we have to, competitive players have to look at like we're a minority in the play base, I would say. So we have to, I don't know. I think I don't like the aggressive nature of the game in season 1. Season 2 seems to be toning down certain elements of the aggression, but then they're compensating for it in other areas. And I feel like, I was saying this before, I feel like if you make a decision, just make the decision. Don't make a decision and then like,
backstep and
try and do something elsewhere that offsets it, and to certain people that just make the decision. At the end of the day, it's your game. Just make the decision and stand on it, and then just move forward. But overall, not to blab on, but I think overall, season 2 is looking promising. It's looking way more interesting and fun to play than season 1. In terms of like, sorry, go on.
No, I was gonna say like obviously season 1 was season 1, and I know it's a bit of madness, but again, I'm not like too in the ground with like how Tekken is. So was it like just because I know again you mentioned like social media and people. I think that's another thing that's different like nowadays compared to like back in the day. Like similar how like there's access to certain things that you guys have now that is just easier. It's like anyone can say something on Twitter and shit just blows up. Whereas back in the day, there weren't those kind of platforms that had that kind of reach, that had that kind of power. Like it was like, okay, man's are on certain forums and things like that. But like nowadays, a man could just say, oh, well, you know what? Nerf this character because this happens. And then it's World War III on Twitter. And it's like,
but I feel like,
crazy. Like,
I feel like, because I've heard like that, okay, because in the old games, now I'm not going to say nothing crazy, but in the old games.
I was just looking at the outside, the comment that Jimmy put in.
They
ain't even top 6 to be fair.
Kim wasn't good though. That's the problem. Kim wasn't even good, but we'll get onto that. I was gonna say, so back in the day, like I feel like because the developers seemed a little bit further away from the community, and the community there wasn't that much access to the developers as there is now. So I feel like if there were problems with the game, it's like if the developer didn't care, they like people couldn't bully developers into making decisions. Because I personally sometimes I feel like, and it's sad to say, but I sometimes feel like they need to be bullied into making decisions because they're just so like on the fence and they don't know what to do. Like, so I feel like if they did release, and to be honest, back in the day, games were released for the most part finished with content and things like that. So
that's another change. It wasn't like back in the day.
So but I was gonna say like if there were problems with the game, it was like if the developers decided to release a patch, they did. If they didn't, you was not having any say in it. Like you couldn't even, So I think it's
that's true. That is true.
A positive thing that we can connect with developers and say how we feel, and
and I think there's more effort on the developer side as well to kind of be transparent about certain things, like with like patches, and obviously we get the patch notes and stuff, and it's like, well, this is +3 because of this now, and blah blah blah. So I think there's effort both ways in terms of like getting more transparency and trying to appease the players as well, and obviously have the players give their feedback as well. So it definitely makes sense. But I guess in terms of Street Fighter 6, it's Kimberly talks about Kimberly, but I guess she's similar to, like, obviously you kind of spoke earlier on about like the kind of archetype that you look for in a character in terms of like the movement and the mobility and stuff. I guess she fits right into that completely in regards to how Street Fighter 6 plays.
Yeah. So people actually feel like people think that I only play ninjas. It's not. It's cap. It's actually cap. Like if that ninja character fits what I like in a character, I'll play them. But it doesn't. In the new Fatal Fury game, I play Kane. He's not a ninja. I play Killick in Soul Calibur. He's not a ninja. I play Rig in Dead or Alive. He's not a ninja. So I don't just pick ninjas. I play characters that fit like what I want in that system.
You say man are spreading lies, basically.
Yeah, the propaganda's crazy with this ninja talk right now. But anyway, I could have picked Taki in Soul Calibur, but
true.
With Kimberly now, the biggest reason that I play Kimberly is because Seth's not in the game. So I think if Seth was in the game, and it's the same with 5, I feel like that's why I kind of dropped 5, because there was no character that was interesting to me enough, and Seth came too late.
Way too late.
Seth came too late for me personally, and plus Seth just didn't play anything like.
He wasn't
even the same character. It wasn't the same character. So I was like, So, but I did gel with Kimberly a lot. I felt like the character suited my playstyle. First of all, she's black. I like black characters in fighting games. That's just the truth. So it was bonus points for the character. She was black. She's a ninja. I liked her design. I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't like ninjas. I like ninjas, but I just don't. I don't default to just picking ninjas.
Like I might just pick ninjas all the time. Like now, shout out to Jintin Cat, because he does. It's Ken or ninjas, and that's it.
Yeah.
Literally Ken or ninjas, and that's it. That's who all he picks anyway.
But respect it. Like you like ninjas, stand on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's fair though.
But now Kimberly's lit. She's
Alex. It's not even cap though. It's not okay. We're going on the side chat now.
It's Ken.
Okay,
we got Ken. We're not gonna go into.
Okay, Street Fighter is Ken.
Yeah.
Virtua Fighter is Kage.
Okay.
Blue,
to be fair, I picked Kage in that game too. So
Blaze Blue is Bang. Guilty Gear is Chip. Are we sensing a theme here, people? Like, come on, Alex, man. It's not
Jinty, you might need to.
Get off, man. Anyway, back to you, Jane. Sorry, continue what you said.
I was saying about Kimberly. So her design is sick. I like the fact that she's black. She, funnily enough, I didn't really gel with the Bushin Ryu characters in other games. So I didn't really. I didn't play Zeku and Guy. I thought Guy's design was cool. I thought Zeku's design was cool. They just didn't really fit my playstyle. I played Cammy in 5, but she got very boring very quickly because she was just standing medium, crouch medium, crouch. But she was just very boring. But yeah, Kimberly, she has that kind of like, her neutral was decent enough to where I could rely on my neutral to beat people for the most part. The problem with Kimberly in the past, well, her biggest flaw is her defense, her defensive options, and obviously the system mechanic changes help that, because now we have more defensive strategies. Her movement's really good. Her movement's actually the best in the game, especially when she burns level 3. So she's got really good movement. She's got good mix-up. She has very annoying like mind games and mental frames as well. So I like characters like Raven. He doesn't have the best frames, but he has really good mental stack, and he can make you think that you can't press based on how I condition players and but it's earned. So like lower level Ravens are not really going to get the most out of the character because maybe their conditioning is not as good, or they don't have as deep mind games. So I think the more time you put into a character like Raven or Kimberly, you know, the more reward you get, I suppose. But Kimberly's not, because I think a lot of people think that Kimberly's just like brain dead and she's just doing running slides. Like a lot of stuff. You know what? I will admit, a lot of ranked Kimberlys are just wild. They party. Same with Raven. But the higher level Kimberlys, like you will notice that like the mind games are insane. There's this, like, if you're losing to high level Kimberlys and they're making you feel like you can't, you're trash at the game. They're just like their mind games are just insane. It is what it is. It is what it is. Kim life doesn't exist in ranked. It doesn't exist. I'm telling you, it doesn't exist. If one slide is blocked,
that's
you're
it.
Dead. Yeah, you're dead. You can't to the corner. Now what? I'm guessing I'm in burnout. That's another thing. Kimberly, like, you had to burn, not so much now because of the buffs, but when I was playing Kimberly, because I haven't played Kimberly really with the buffs. I played her when she was like launched, when she wasn't you had to go into burnout. That's why a lot of people are like, oh, you're always in burnout. And I'm like, I've developed to be
that muscle memory to have to be in burnout.
Yeah. So I didn't ever panic in burnout. Like, I'm like, okay, cool. My reactions are good enough. I can react to driving pack with supers. My reactions are good enough, so I can just sit here in burnout if needed. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of players are scared to be in the Noah the Prodigy as well. He's always in burnout.
He's known for being in burnout and just being a madman when he's in burnout.
The reason is because he's comfortable. His defense is good enough for him to be in burnout. He doesn't panic, so that's why he can be in the States. So yeah, but now Kim life ain't a thing, man.
So you mentioned Fatal Fury briefly. Obviously, the beta was out a week ago or so now, and obviously you mentioned Kane. So what are your thoughts on that game currently at the moment? I know it's early stages and stuff, but what are your thoughts on, and how did you find playing the beta over that weekend?
The game is fun. It's a new franchise because I've not played any of those games before.
Okay.
So it's a new experience. I think it's fun. I like 2D games because I know a lot of Tekken players, they don't really play many other games. They just play Tekken. And they don't gel well with 2D. But obviously, because I came from 2D, that game is not alien at all. Like, it's I feel at home. I feel like it's actually quite it feels similar to SF6 in the way that the engine feels. I don't know how to describe it, but it doesn't feel so far away. So I wasn't too uncomfortable. I think Kane, because he's a hybrid charge. I typically don't like charge characters. I don't play charge. I don't play even hybrid charge characters in any game. But he's a hybrid charge, and I felt like at home with the character. Once I started figuring out like combos and certain system mechanics like breaking, breaking
and feints and stuff
when I figured out the feints and breaking, because I did the tutorial and I was like, I'm not really feeling this game too tough. And then
because I remember in the chat you was like, nah,
this
like
ain't but then
like a day later, it's like Kane 6 though.
I saw some combos on YouTube. I was like, okay, cool. And this is what the character can do. And then I looked back at the tutorial on the feint and the breaking stuff. I was like, okay, this is what the character can do now. So yeah, I think the game is mad. Like, I think there's a lot of like room for skill expression in defense and offense. I feel like the defensive mechanics are really rewarding when you learn to use them effectively. So I think I think skillful players are gonna, because I feel like in a lot of modern fighting games, and it's refreshing because in a lot of modern fighting games, it's like it kind of feels like the gap between skillful players and not as skillful players is being reduced. Like, it feels like beating skillful players is just more easy. I'm not saying it's easy to beat a 6 player
but
game. It's not. The mechanics will help.
The mechanics has helped close the gap essentially.
I feel like that game. I feel like in that game, there's not. I mean, there's still crutch mechanics in some form, but not as many. I feel like it's very much a skillful game. I definitely mess with the game.
The game will open up pretty much when it comes out, and then obviously with guard cancels after just defense, hyper defense.
I've
seen 1 or 2 clicks during the beta.
The clicks are crazy.
Certain things that can be happening, like certain interactions that will happen. I enjoy that game. I enjoy that game. I'll definitely be copying.
What character was you picking in that game?
Vox.
Oh, okay. He looks just. I don't know, like his design is weird. I didn't pick him, but he just looks like what type of character is he? A zoner or is
he's like hybrid. He reminds me of Nakali in Street Fighter 5. He reminds like similar kind of, like he's got a DP, he's got the there's the far stand heavy kick.
Yeah.
He's got like command grab.
Because that's one thing that I didn't like about Kane is that I felt like his buttons weren't really that sick for like
for what the character that
punishment. But I don't think I think he's very much a set play character. With like, and his breaks are sick as well. I feel like his breaks and feints will be quite sick for offense. But
Box is like, I enjoy Box and command grab, EX.
Okay, got command grab.
I like characters with command grabs. Like, get on with the pink people, but like, I like characters that have command grabs, but that are not like pure grapplers. Like, they've still got some kind of movement. And he kind of gel with me now, so he's a sick character, man. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that when that comes out at least. Anyway, so you think you'll be playing that like, and do you think you'll be playing that alongside Tekken 8 when it comes out, in terms of entering tournaments and stuff, or just once it's out?
Yeah, like I mean, with the tournament stuff, is like if I fall in love with the game, I'll compete. If season 2 is amazing in Tekken 8, I'll compete. And now I'm not saying I'm gonna go to every tournament and try and compete at TWT, but I'll start showing up and showing my face again like I used to. You know what I mean? Because I was never really like that player that like went to every tournament and competed. I was always just that player who turned up and placed and beat people and then went home. Like, that's it. Do you know what I mean? I was never really that type of player that like was grinding to like. There was one point where Kongs was popping and we was doing offline sessions like twice a week.
RIP Kongs as well.
Yeah, I know, man. You know how hurt I was when I found that post.
Man. It's probably one of the best venues that we had, man. Like for real. Like.
Yeah, so no, we were grinding. I think it was me, Joker, Eddie used to come sometimes, Dante, Richie wasn't in the scene at the time, but it was like Dawn Yeager as well used to come, a couple of Noodles, like all the guys used to come, and it was lit. So
Kongs was big, man.
Kongs was huge. The venue was sick, man.
And I was thinking the food and that was decent there as well, man. Like it's we've lost too many venues, man.
I know, man. I know.
It sucks, man. But yeah, that's sick, man. That's sick, man. So I guess before we kind of wrap this one up, I guess what's next for you in terms of tournaments or in terms of like YouTube drops, or have you got any projects upcoming projects coming out soon, or
upcoming projects? Well, for my YouTube channel, I was thinking about doing like a Raven versus the cast series, because a lot of people have been asking me like, how do I deal with X character? So I'm just gonna literally start with Alyssa and go all the way through the cast, which is gonna take a lot of time. But and the reason why I haven't done it is because I've had to relearn all the matchups in Tekken 8 because everything's so different. I feel like a lot of legacy knowledge is pretty much out the window. So I've had to like literally study and relearn every matchup. And there's a lot that I'm still not there with. So like that's why I didn't really want to. But I thought, you know what, for the matchups I am comfortable with, I'm gonna start and do Raven versus Alyssa, Raven versus Asasina, all the way up until like Yoshimitsu, Zafina. So that's like a huge thing that I'm working on. But other than that, tournaments, I mean, you'll always see me at VSF, so that's a given. But as I said, I feel like if Tekken 8 is mad sick in season 2, and I feel like I feel the urge to compete again, then I will compete. It's not like I've disappeared and I'm refusing to compete and I'm never gonna compete. If the game is good, I will compete. If I feel like I'll compete at the end of the day. So yeah, I mean, what else music wise? Really just trying to work on getting my studio together, really, because I got my setup at home and that, but as I said, I like to just get out, and I feel like with my space I'll be able to collaborate with more artists easily because it'll be my space, you know what I mean? Whereas like now if I'm working with artists, it's like, okay, we both have to chip in for a session and these things. So it's like if I have my own space, they can just
it just opens up like more doors and stuff. Yeah. Oh, that's sick. Jaden, this has been a pleasure to have you on, for real, man.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Nah, man, not a problem at all, man. Obviously, you're active in the scene. Multi-talented guy, this young ass guy learning these things so quick. Man said
information is accessible though, man.
In 2020 lockdown,
you can YouTube everything now, like even
that's the thing. You can,
what I mean? You can.
It's a fact. But like, obviously, it's testament to you and yourself in terms of the application of once. You can't just, you've got the videos, but you're actually doing it and learning. So shout out to you and that, man. I guess before we go, do you have any like just general shout outs to anyone out there, or before we go and shout out to like your socials and stuff as well, man? And obviously,
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on pretty much all social platforms, just ImortalXSoul. I mean, even on streaming platforms for music, you'll find me. ImortalXSoul on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, you'll find me. Music platforms. So yeah, it's pretty much the same across all platforms. I mean, just looking back, man, like I think I'll give a huge shout out to the COV scene because, bro, if it wasn't for them, I probably would I wouldn't even be on this podcast to be honest. So definitely shout out to them. Shout out to the Brom scene. Shout out to Electronic Dojo. Yeah, man, that's about it, man. Shout out to Rise as well, my sponsor. Yeah, man, big up everyone.
Cool. Now, respect, man. As I say, I appreciate you coming on and just blessing us with your presence and just telling a little bit about yourself and your story and that, man. I appreciate it.
Man. No worries, bro.
But yeah, man. So before we go, I listed off pure tournaments. I can't even remember. I'm gonna go through, but it's about time that we do our shameless self-plugging. For me, we have littlemilobooks.com is my children's books and products and stuff. So let's go to the shop quick time. We got like all these children's books, coloring books, plush toys that you can see here. It's all my own stuff. This is like the side hustle, as it were. Jeez. But you know what? Just do what I can, man. I just do what I can in it. So yeah, it's littlemilobooks.com. I say we got coloring books, all that good stuff. Get them for your little ones. Just do what you do, man. Say in terms of Electronic Dojo, you know where to find us. Follow us on Electronic Dojo on all platforms except Instagram, which is Electronic Dojo UK. Please follow us on all platforms. Let me just drop the link in the chat. Yeah. So I was at school today, like reading the books to the kids and that because it's World Book Day and all that. So I try and do my thing for the community and the people and that. So littlemilobooks.com for all your children's needs. I say tournament wise, I know there's winner stays on this weekend, sorry. Then we got short tournament. I'm gonna make a graphic with all the tournaments, but mix-ups coming up, head stompers coming up, only the best is coming up. There's a tournament in Scotland called Edinburgh coming up. There is Colchester Collision. I think that's a new local started up in Colchester. So just search all of your socials and start GGs for those. I'm gonna have the graphic up next week with all these events because there's too many of them and I didn't have time to do it today, unfortunately. But for now, I'm out. I'll be back next week with another episode of Community Corner with episode 16. Why am I still doing this? I don't know. But while you guys are still here, I'm still rocking it, man. So appreciate the time, Jaden. Thank you so much. Respect all the guys out there that was watching. The YouTube video will be out tomorrow because we're streaming live on YouTube as well. So I'll just fix that up and get out there. And we'll keep it moving, man. And I think, Jaden, I might have to come to you for some YouTube advice, man, because I need my little Milo book stuff because, bro, it's a struggle out here, man. Like, well, obviously, it's a different market anyway. It's just, bro.
Yeah. Nah, bro, trust me. Yeah, man. Hit me up, man. Get my number.
Yeah, of course. But again, thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. Shout out to everyone that was in there. Shout out to Shycole. Shout out to Matty, shout out to Jinty, shout out to everyone that's in chat. I'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. You know what it is. Community Corner. See you later, guys.